go for 45 minutes, so we'll just get started. Meanwhile, let's wait for Potter from Sign, but before that, let's get everyone a round of brief introduction. Who you are, what project you're representing.
Hi everyone, this is Victoria. Sorry about this. So, our founder. Yeah, so our founder should be here today, but he has another emergency call, so I'm going to be here today. I'm currently head of APAC at Vana. We are actually building, the first data layer for AI. And our founder is coming from a traditional AI labs for years. And right now we are actually expanding our data now and also ecosystem. So we'll come only other builders or AI developers to join and see what we are building actually right now. So I'm also looking forward to collaborate with you in the future. My background coming from exchange and also VC, so I really bullish on AI crypto for this cycle.
Hi everyone, I'm Christian. I'm the founder of Infini. We are building a stablecoin neobank to providing the high yield of saving account and also crypto card to everyone. Very glad to be here and meet everyone.
Hello everybody. My name is Erbil, co-founder of Huma Finance, the first and fastest growing DeFAI network with more than $3 billion of volume already. DeFAI enables payments and finance on-chain, powering things like digital asset-like cards, cross-border payments, trade finance, T-plus settlements, and it also enables us in the blockchain ecosystem to stay true to the original mission of blockchains that has been identified by Satoshi in the original white paper, the peer-to-peer electronic cash system.
Hi there. My name is Vana. I'm co-founder and CTO of KiteAI. Before this company, I co-founded a streaming DB company, raising 44 million. And before this, I was leading engineering at Uber. I was the Uber engineering committee chair for a year and a half, just supervised all the engineering to Uber before. And then I was also a founding engineer at the Salesforce Einstein Data and AI Cloud. So I have 15-year experience building foundational data and AI systems. KiteAI is actually building layer 1 AI just for AI. You can call it AI Solana. So we invent this proof of attributed intelligence to give rewards to the AI contributor. So that's what KiteAI does.
Hello everyone. Sorry for being a bit late. My name is Potter, and I'm the co-founder of Sign. And as you know, I'm a serious builder. I wear this vest. And I make sure people see the sign. That's my vision. But in terms of what Sign is, we're building the infrastructure layer of programmable trust. How we leverage and to be able to program your own, make sure that you own your own identity, your assets, your contracts, and so on and so on, and much more. And how we build trust between humans and society, humans and AI, humans and organizations is something that we've been working on through the 3 products that I can go a bit deep later on. But before started Sign, I co-founded the blockchain organization at the University of Southern California, USC, also known as University of Super Rich Chinese or University of Spoiled Children, whatever you want to say. But got into crypto in 2017, and now we're here and happy to be here. And sorry to be late.
No worries. Orange is the new black, so it's all accepted. So I guess the first question, this panel is related to sovereign individual. So sovereign individual, this notion was raised, I think, by Balaji, and it's referring to someone who's fully in control of their finances, identity, as well as their personal data. So each of your project embodies some form of, sovereign individual. I guess in what way does your product or project really empowers the person to be a sovereign individual? So let's start with Sign. I think this is something that you guys have been talking about.
Thank you, Mable. For Sign, we started around in 2020, and now has been for almost 4.5 years. We have majorly 3 products that we are running. One is the first one is ETH Sign. That is what we started off. It is essentially a decentralized DocuSign product that we built. The original idea of building that product is in 2021. Everyone is trying to rebuild a Web 2 application using a Web 3 tech stack, and a lot of people are building like decentralized, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, etc., etc. But all of these have like a strong network effect. It's hard to kind of infiltrate that network. So we think building a decentralized DocuSign utilizing blockchain technology allows you to verify your signature, just like verify a transaction on blockchain, and everyone can verify, and every document is secured digitally and securely in the decentralized storage. That was the original idea. So for ETH Sign, everyone should be able to own their own contract that they sign with people, right? So how human sign a contract, they should have full access to this. If you sign on DocuSign or other e-signature platforms, one thing that you might be wondering is if the company went bankrupt, then all your contracts was gone, and you need to verify your contract. You need to also ask for their permission to get your stamp on everything. So that was one thing. Second, we built a product called Token Table. It is one of the largest token distribution platform for investor unlocks, token airdrops, and employees team member unlocks. We see this big kind of gap, or this big pain point in the industry where founders or investors, after they invest a token project but didn't get their token back, or or airdrop recipients, they have interact with projects for so long but they didn't get their tokens back. So how do we use smart contract to execute what was signed in the for example the investment document, and to execute that in the smart contract language? This is something that we are super excited and also wanting to build about. So Token Table is secures and makes sure that everyone can own their assets on chain. And as for the third part is we built a product called SignPass, which is the first ever digital e-visa and also digital ID platform that work with centralized government, that puts your identity on chain, that records your whatever e-visa digital ID on Sign protocol, that can verify your humanness on chain. We work with a few governments. Last year we partnered with a West African country, Sierra Leone, to build a e-visa and for the digital permanent residence visa on chain and physical product as well. Later on, we're gonna work with few other countries in this year. So stay tuned. But to kind of conclude on what I'm saying is, to empower. This what we build is very aligned with the vision of sovereign individuals. You own your own identity, you own your own data asset, and your own contract. But essentially, it's all about how you build trust within these different entities, and Sign is working towards that vision.
So when we talk about the sovereignty of data, actually, what data is actually more important for me in this case? Like what use case you're looking for? So from my personal experience in large language model, just your Twitter data, your writing data probably contribute very little, because all the existing large language model you train on top of the whole total Wikipedia, the accumulation for last 50 years for all the internet written data, all the historical published in this case, like writing data or language, like writing data or speaking data is actually relatively less useful. But we do observe there is a strong demand for the DNA data, medical data in this case, medical data, DNA data, and then multimedia data and multimodal model in this case is actually in strong demand. For KiteAI, we are AI Solana. We are building a layer 1 layer 1 for AI. So what we do is that we foster a list of subnet to contribute data in this case. So we have data subnet, we have model subnet, and then we have agent subnet. So each data subnet can collect the data in their own way. So currently we don't directly collect data from consumer. We work with one of the biggest OpenAI real-time API provider. So they actually have 800 million video and audio data in this case, and then we provide this data to the model builder to build. And then again, so when we talk about data, what data and for what use case is actually very important.
This is actually something I think about quite a bit, so bear with me because I'm going to take you to a matrix-like journey. What is Huma? Huma is the first and largest PayFi network. What does PayFi enable? PayFi enables the trade of time value of money. The money you can access today, the economic value that you can access today is so much more valuable than the money you can access tomorrow and the economic value you can access tomorrow. The simplest example of this is a credit card. When you use credit card, you're actually accessing your future cash flow, you're accessing future economic value. And the merchant is very happy because they're also accessing future economic value, they're also accessing future cash flow. You're taking that future cash flow, bringing it today, buying a service, enhancing your life, or making investments on behalf of that to increase your economic value today. So this is a very, very critical element when it comes to how a sovereign individual can be empowered. Because the goal of a sovereign individual is to maximize their agency. So by nature, a sovereign individual is actually agentic. And if you think about AGI, if you think about the agentic AI revolution, who does it benefit the most? It benefits the individual with the highest agency. Right? So the sovereign individual has so much more benefit from AGI, so much more benefit from the agentic AI than anybody else. On the other hand, the AGI and the agentic AI, as it gets more powerful, becomes more and more expensive. Have you guys seen Stargate's announcement? $500 billion being invested in the AI infrastructure. And Sam Altman is saying, this is not enough. We need to be investing $5 trillion, $10 trillion. Who's going to pay for it? So the more centralized AI stays, the more expensive it becomes. Then how does an individual access that AGI, that agentic AI capabilities? They need to access the future economic value. They need to access PayFi. This is how PayFi enables the individual.
Thank you. Yeah. At Infini, actually, our goal is like quite simple. It's actually to giving back the financial freedom to individual, especially retail user. I know like that's something that everyone in crypto will say, giving back financial freedom. Binance say that, Coinbase say that, just like kind of like slogan, but actually none of them did this instead of like taking money from your pocket. Yeah. So at Infini, actually we are trying to giving back one of the best yield you can get, whether it's in crypto industry or in other industry in the future. So we are providing them with some of the highest yield. We're often talking about like we are the Goldman Sachs for people. That's why I think financial freedom, especially the power, of getting this good like earn feature and also kind of this yield-bearing asset is quite important. Yeah. So that's first thing we're trying to do. The second thing is also the access to the payment method. As you can see, like people are often getting questioned about, oh, I couldn't pay about my Twitter account, Twitter Premium membership. I couldn't pay about the ChatGPT. So that's why we're here to solve this goal. And actually, there are countries or area or individuals that couldn't pay and enjoy the next revolution of our area. So I think that's one thing we'll keep focusing on.
Oh, great. I think that's a really amazing question. We always think about. So actually, I feel like Vana actually solved the paradox between AI and ownership. So think like you can't train good models without data, right? But right now, they're actually sacrificing like what we are talking about sovereignty here. So I think what we are trying to do is like we give back the ownership to users. So basically, you can do three things at Vana: own, control, and contribute your data. That's something that you can't do working in Web 2. And also, like I want to echo with what KiteAI founder mentioned. So like in Web 2, we're always talking about like data. What that always means like public data. So most of the AI models actually training based on public data. And but actually, there is a large world what we can't really access anymore. Is because it's called private data. So it's actually there is an industry dedicated to selling it and also transferring that private data in Web 2 world. And most of like, for example, if you're a blogger, you post all your content that's public data, but you still own like legal rights of your content. But like the traditional the AI, those corporate sales, they will argue that they'll actually falls in the doctrine of reasonable use. So they can would like reach out to those kind of content. They are saying like, oh, we're gonna use it for research purpose. But like if we want to, I guess like build or train better AI models, we also need like private data. So there's something, I guess like with like AI and also like blockchain technology, that's something we can actually achieve in the near future. So, and I really want to address like the difference between public data and private data. So that's something you need to like kind of bring your awareness to this kind of difference. So like Vana, if you're like a user, for example, you can like contribute your browsing habits or like creative, like something, your creative work, and even like your medical records, and also like so for example your chat history with like DeepSeek and also ChatGPT, you can contribute those kind of data set over Vana ecosystem. So yeah, like in conclusion, it's like all control and contribute your data and our ecosystem. I think that's something we're talking about. Yeah, data sovereignty. You can think about like data sovereignty layer for AI. Yeah, that's something really interesting.
That's awesome. The next question. Empowering a individual or a group of people to be self-sovereign often would clash with existing regulations. Not always, but sometimes. So what are some of the major regulatory hurdles that you guys are facing when you're going? Let's start with Connor again.
I mean, and we are trying to revolutionize and disrupt the traditional finance, right? I mean, like a token issuance, or like, you know, it's a parallel in the traditional stock or security issuance, and it has, you know, been regulated by SEC for, you know, decades. But I guess we've been trying to find a way to launch token in a very legalized, compliant way, and which we haven't seen in the past years, because, you know, there's a lot of regulatory, like, you know, like a framework that kind of was like, you know, was like constraining that, and also there are the reputation of the entire crypto market, especially for crypto founders. They have been facing some like a reputational, like a, you know, like a damage based on their previous behaviors. So what we really trying to do is for token table specifically, what we're trying to emphasize is how to launch a token in a very legal, compliant, as well as successful way. Similar to how you get your stock listed in traditional exchanges, the process of how a token be listed on a CEX should also face some regulatory, like a framework, and, you know, also like a, you know, as well. So, you know, we recently saw that a lot of projects that was going to list it on CEX, they were not. What they promised in their token economics pie chart was not exactly what they actually kind of distributed the token to. So these creates a lot of like industries, you know, like black holes where, you know, people are building, you know, doing a ton of like, you know, like shitty or scheme stuff, and when they launch a token. So we try to make the whole process a bit more transparent. Even though founders may dislike us, but we do think that making the process more transparent is better for the entire industry to benefit. Especially if you want to reach to from the $3 trillion market cap into the future, where maybe $30 or $100 trillion, you definitely need a very like a great regulatory framework to kind of like to oversee everything in there. So we are working with our existing, you know, investors and some of the, you know, centralized exchange supporters to try to build this ultimate, also this standardized process of how token is going to be launched, just like how a traditional stock is launched on, you know, a traditional exchange. And Token Table is helping all of that by helping with founders when they fundraise, when they sign their contract and manage their token cap table, register their token ownership on chain, and based on what's written in the staffed contract to distribute the token with the, you know, same like vesting schedules. So enforcing the, you know, contract terms using smart contract. Code is law, right? You know, you can always trust code. So with this, you know, we believe that, you know, pushing these boundaries was going to be beneficial, not just for us, but also going to be for the entire industry. And as for, you know, our identity, you know, like a passport, sign pass project, we are, instead of, we saw, for example, you know, WorldCoin or other like a human protocol is trying to bring humans on chain, by, for example, WorldCoin, by collecting the biometrics through this orb. However, we see the limitation of what WorldCoin is. First of all, it's hard to scale. So if you want to onboard 7 billion people with the orb, you need to produce like 1 million orbs, right? And first of all, it's at a very high cost. Second of all, there are a lot of jurisdictions that was not allowing, saying that it's like this is violates their privacy protocols whatsoever. So orb is actually prohibited in GDPR, so in all Europe. So instead of like trying to challenge the traditional system, we work with them instead. We work with the centralized government because they also have the needs to bring their citizens on chain by offering them an identity or wallet and getting access to a banking as whatsoever. So instead of like trying to challenge the world, we work with them today to build the system under their kind of like a supervision and trying to bring more adoption into the way, basically build the existing credentials or bring the existing credentials on chain. So think about in the future, one day, your driver's license that's issued in Hong Kong could be verified in US or other countries. That is all verifiable on Sign protocol. And so mostly these two is what I'm trying to talk about. Sorry if it's a bit.
So we are working with Berkeley and MSK cancer detection use case. MSK is one of the biggest cancer center in New York. So the use case here is actually very simple. So MSK is training a cancer. This is like a blood cancer, but there actually are a few other cancers in parallel: breast cancer, colon cancer, a few other cancers in this case in parallel. So with the popular like Gen AI 2022, majority of the cancer detection now train their foundational model themselves. And then like one of the latest publication from Harvard, they train a foundational model for medical cancer detection. You can think of this is a very large image, like 200K times 200K image for your blood sample. And then from the image, you need a lot of labeling data, and then the data will actually convert to a model, foundational model, say what type of cancer it is, what's the likelihood for this. Currently, MSK and Berkeley can only use the data from UCSF. Because that's actually because of legal reason, because of other reasons. That's the only reason. That's the only data they have access to. First, it's a very limited selection of data. The second is that it's a very narrow sample as well in this case. So that's why we work with one of our data subnet. In this case, for data, I actually provide the data from Shanghai and Renji hospital. So they can provide a large sample of this cancer, blood cell data. And then the train the model, because there is fundamental no difference between a blood sample from China or from elsewhere, from US, from elsewhere. So, but here is actually a lot of regulation issue. First is that the data has jurisdiction. The blood sample data from China cannot leave China. Similarly, with blood sample data from US cannot leave US. There is local jurisdiction. There are few like privacy issue as well. But there is we're working with them to several ways to bypass it. One way is just do the vector embedding. So instead of passing the raw data, we do the vector embedding. In this case, there actually no personal information is going to leak here. So basically, instead of like, hey, this is a blood sample data, we vector embed it to a high-dimensional vector and pass along for the training. The other thing we currently do is the digital twins of synthetic data. So instead of like passing the real people's data, we create a digital twin for the data, synthetic data for it. In this case, the data can pass the jurisdiction. But although this is just blood sample data or cancer detection data, the same rule can apply to almost any other part. You can create synthetic data based on real sample data. You can create a vector embedding. In this case, it applies to all the data. So that's the jurisdiction and the compliance issue we have now. How we bypass it.
If you asked this question last year, I would talk about the regulatory hurdles. This year, I'm going to talk about regulatory opportunities because I think things have shaped quite a bit. We're a Silicon Valley company, US company. 2.5 years ago when we launched this, people told us we're fucking crazy. In the US, we're going to do this. Even up until November last year, a lot of our investors and partners were telling us like, why the fuck you guys are in the US? Just get out, just go launch your product and company somewhere else. Don't do this in the US, you'll be rich. And we're obviously we hear this and we understand why they say it. And a lot of the companies left Silicon Valley and New York, and they launched their products in different places. But our answer has always been the same, which is we are not doing anything wrong. We're creating the most valuable financial infrastructure for the next generation. There is going to be an administration at some point waking up to this, because there's no other way they can actually survive in this global economy not betting on this new financial future. So it turned out to be a good bet. In November, things have shifted quite a bit, but because we wanted to hedge this, we went on to offense last year. So we acquired our financial, which is one of the first licensed entities out of Switzerland that has the license to actually deal with stablecoin-based settlements across the globe with financial institutions. Then we launched our Hong Kong entity because we realized that Hong Kong is also at the forefront of this revolution. And we went and built a team in UAE and hired Patrick Campos, who has built a lot of the regulatory regime for digital assets in UAE as our chief business officer, who is now on the advisory board in Washington of digital assets and innovation. So we're going to go into full offense in US, in Singapore, in Hong Kong, in London, in Switzerland, in UAE, to basically clear out the regulatory hurdles, because these are also the places where payments happen to flow globally. So I'm quite bullish about the regulatory future.
Okay. So at Infini, actually, the most important thing we do is actually to dealing with regulation and also getting license, especially for card service. And probably in the future, the asset management service, you all need to, get a license, and they offer the service. But one thing is actually, whether it's in DeFi or in any finance, actually regulation cost is one of the major costs we have. Especially right now when we're providing car service, actually you can see that often the more cheaper rate you got, you have like a more complicated process that you need to do, whether it's KYC or more, whether it's AML. You often to do all of these, then you can provide like a really accessible product to your user. Yeah. So what we're trying to do in the long term is actually to discover and discuss with the regulation, and to see like what's kind of the balance that we can reach to providing a good product experience, and also a legally providing them legally without getting in trouble. Yeah, that's always something that we need to keep working on.
So at Vana, I think I will keep it short. I think one of the biggest challenge we are doing is redefining compliance in a world where data isn't static, right? So, because in Web 2, we're talking about data transfer and sell, which is not like a common thing. And also there are lots of like jurisdiction about regarding data ownership and also data selling. So the biggest issue right now is like SEC actually has a stance on data monetization as securities. So we're actually trying to make sure our data rewards as like data dividends for the users instead of tokens. So, and I think actually stay tuned. So I think in the Q1 or Q2 we're gonna have some big news coming up. We're actually collaborating with some regional regulators to make sure actually users can be able to own and sell their data and also earn certain percentage of data rewards or data dividends. So I think that's something really interesting here. Our biggest challenge for sure is it's hard to kind of how to like regulate or make private data selling and transfer, make it like ethically, transparently, and legally in a world where the data can becomes like in the hands of users. Yeah. Thanks.
All right, last question. Very brief, please. Demographic. What's the current demographic for all of your products, and what's the future expansion like?
Incredible. The current demographic is the entire globe. The entire Earth is our playground. We want to onboard every single human, into Sign Protocol, into this trustless network. But what's more importantly is Mabel was asking how are you going to expand it. So we're actually going to expand it into the AI realm as well. We're going to give AI an identity, and to start with, signing a contract with them. What type of contract? I recently wrote it on my Twitter blog. If you guys are interested, can take a look. We're thinking about a lot about how human and AI should coexist in superalignment. And I was talking with one of the AI agents called Opus, who who made goats, alive. It was founded by Andy, who put this Infini box that have two Opus to talk to each other, and that generated goat, Farcoin, and so on and so forth. Anyways, I was talking to Opus. I basically gave him a lot of my insights on how human and AI should coexist in the future, and how human and the nature has already coexisting for thousands of years in the past. And I asked if we can sign Isaac Asimov's 3 robots law on DeFAI. If you guys are not familiar with Isaac Asimov, is one of the most influential sci-fi author. The 3 robots law is first, robots should always robots should always not hurt human. Second is the robots should always listen to human, but have to be following the first law. Third is robots should do what they're for the best interest, but following the 2 laws. But only the Asimov 3 laws is not enough. I think we need to add, in order for human and AI to coexist in the future, we need to add a 4th law, because the first 3 laws is one-sided bounded it's all for robots to listen to human. But in order to coexist, it has to be a mutual way. So the 4th law I'm proposing is to human and AI should co-develop compassion, love, and respect towards each other. So I call it the open benevolent love contract that human and AI should sign. So we're gonna broadcast the signing event of human and AI in the next couple of days. So yes, we're expanding the realm and demographic into the AI as well.
So KiteAI is actually built and powered by Zeta blockchain. We provide data and AI infra for the last 3 years. Almost all the customers from Zeta blockchain is from US. Storage, EigenLayer, Sui building entire data infra on top of us, and then Open Zapping building data infra on top of us as well. But we actually, that's actually our past history. But now we are expanding actually beyond US in this case, because we realized, for example, take cancer detection as an example. The model consumer is mainly come from Quest Diagnose or MSK. That's actually the user part. But the data provider likely actually come from Asia in this case. So that's why we are expanding our territory to Asia this year, and then we are working with a lot of the builder subnet, agent subnet, data subnet in Asia, China, Korea, and Japan. And we have some partner, for example, we just announced our first agent partner with BT. They are a company in Europe. They're one of the biggest agent subnet. They're one of the biggest agent protocol near they moved to us. So yeah, so we expanded our footprint to global.
So as a PFI network, obviously our network services payments institutions. So far we had a lot of payments companies, payment fintechs, financial institutions that move money globally utilize our product, and we just started piloting Amazon's payments from US to Asia, which is going to be one of our biggest use cases. And we have a few regional banks who want to utilize the PayFi network to move money intrabank, because banks actually move money at trillions of dollars of capacity all the time, and unfortunately Swift sucks, and they know this, and they're trying to find alternate solutions, and we're obviously one of the best options for them, being 24/7 global network. However, as we launched our last Vana campaign, where you can actually put liquidity into this network, we realized that a lot of the institutions obviously putting money to get double-digit yield, but also a lot of individuals that are coming to our pools and putting liquidity to get access to this double-digit yield, because there's nowhere else they can find this kind of yield, either at their banks or treasuries or even DeFi. There's no double-digit yield that you can access easily today. And it made us realize, holy shit, we can actually give people, individuals, the opportunity to tap into this liquid network, provide USDC, USDT, and cover this whole transition that we're causing on the payment side. So we're launching a compliant DeFi product, a permissionless product, very soon, end of March, for sovereign individual. This is going to be one of our new customers. But also we'll continue to serve the sovereign institutions, the sovereign governments, to completely rebuild their financial infrastructure. If you have seen Elon Musk talk about moving the payments of the government on chain, I don't think they will do that anywhere else other than the DeFi network.
Infini community was built from Chinese community since day one, and we are very grateful about this. In the future, especially after next month, we will release our physical card. We want to expand more to other countries in Asia. For example, like India, some countries in SEA, even Latin America, which we found already this area having like a strong demand of crypto card and also saving accounts. And of course, future we will expand globally, and it will also depend on the license acquisition situation.
Yes, summing up, I would say for Vana, our top 4 demographic would be medical researchers, digital creators, and also traders as well. And we have a large community actually in Latin America and also Southeast Asia. Why? Because I guess for medical researchers or those kind of users in Web2 world, especially for women. So one of our data now ecosystem is women healthcare data. So because again Web2 is not easy to gain certain access, especially for women. If you get a certain disease, for example, one of our members coming from Latin American less developed country, and they want to really get some access or analysis of this kind of data, but it's really hard even for them to get access. So we have lots of data actually contributing to this field. I think that's why medical researchers, I think it's one of our biggest demographics. And then digital creators for sure, we have all kinds of data sets coming from social media platforms, Web2, LinkedIn, and also other platforms. So those data sets will be used for various projects and also users. And then traders, actually trading data is a really, huge untapped market in the traditional industry. And also because of, AI agents right now, you actually can own and also train your own agents. And if you can contribute lots of trading data, and then in the future you will have a better, smarter version of agent to help you trade smart. So I think this is something interesting as well. It's basically those top 3 groups, and for sure in the future we're gonna onboard more general users across the world and also all other industries as well.
Thank you all so much. Thanks for your participation. I think it's time for